Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video topic is basics of polynomials. So today we are going to start with chapter 2 of grade 9 and the name of the chapter is polynomials. And in this video we will only cover its basics, that what are the terms associated with this polynomials, what are the topics that we will cover in this chapter, that all we will discuss in this video. Okay. So now let's begin with the definition of polynomials. That what is a polynomial? So it is an algebraic expression consisting of variables with non-negative integral powers. Okay, or in simple words we can say it is made up by variables, constants, coefficient, where the power of the term should always be positive. It should always be an whole number. It can never be negative. For example, let's take this 5x square minus 3x plus 4. So in this you can see that the power of x is 2. Here the power of x is 1. So the powers are positive. Hence it will be a polynomial. Now we will cover some other things, that what we will call to this polynomial when it is having 3 terms, what we will call when it is having 1 term, 2 term and so on. Okay, so the first thing, a polynomial is always made up by variables. The variables can be anything, we can take anything of our choice, x, y, z, a, b, c, anything. These all are variables. Now what are coefficients? Coefficients means the numbers multiplying by variables. For example, here the coefficient of x square will be 5. The coefficient of x will be minus 3. And 4 is a constant. Its value will never change. It can be any number. 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 3, minus 4, minus 13 and so on. Okay. So in short, we can say that a polynomial is a combination of variables, constants, coefficients and that are connected with addition, subtraction or multiplication symbols. Okay. Now let's begin with all this. A polynomial of one term is called when there is only one term in a polynomial. For example, the polynomial is in the form of 6x. It is given only 6x. This means there is only one term. So we call it monomial. What we call it? Monomial. M-O-N-O-M-I-A-L. Monomial. Or we can take any other example. 7x square. Again we can see there is only one term. Hence it's a monomial. So a polynomial in which only one term is there, that is known as monomial. Now a polynomial of 2 terms, in which 2 terms are there, that is known as, for example, let's write the example 6x cube plus 3x. So now you can see in this algebraic expression there are 2 terms, 6x cube plus 3x. So it is known as binomial. B-I-N-O-M-I-A-L. Binomial. Here the bi means 2. What is the meaning of bi? Bi means 2. Hence we call it binomial. Okay. So any polynomial in which there is only 2 terms. For example, if it will be like this, 5x square plus 6, this will also be a binomial. Okay. Now, a polynomial of 3 terms, when there are 3 terms, then we call it trinomial. Okay. T-R-I, trinomial. N-O-M-I-A-L. Here also T-R-I, tri means 3. Tri means 3. Hence we call it trinomials. For example, 8p cube plus 6q square plus 9. So you can see that there are 3 terms, 1 term, 2 term and 3 term. Hence it is known as trinomial. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, a polynomial having 2 or more than 2 terms, that is known as multinomial. M-U-L-T-I-N-O-M-I-A-L, multinomial. Okay. So for example, this trinomial can also be said as multinomial. We can also say that it's a multinomial because it has more than 2 terms. Even an algebraic expression with 2 terms is also known as multinomial. Okay. So a polynomial having either 2 or more than 2, then we call it multinomial. Okay. But if suppose the question comes in MCQ's form and this option is not there, and you have this question 6x cube plus 3x is a binomial, monomial or trinomial. In that case you will only tick on binomial because it has only 2 terms. But if this option is not there and this option is there, then you can say yes, it's a multinomial. Okay. Now moving on to the next thing, that is the highest power of the term in the polynomial is called its degree. What we call it? Degree. D-E-G-R-E-E. Degree means the highest power of the term. For example, if we will take this example, so there are 3 terms, 8p cube plus 6q square plus 9. So what is the highest power of the term? What are the terms here? How many terms? 1, 2, 3. 3 terms. It's a trinomial and the highest power is 3. Hence 3 will be the degree of this. Okay. So the degree of this polynomial will be 3. Now let's check. Suppose here the polynomial is given 5x. It is having only 1 term. So what we will call to this? Monomial. Its degree is, what is the power of x? What is the power of this variable x? It's nothing, it is 1. So hence we call it, now we are classifying the polynomial on the basis of its degree. Okay. So the degree of this will be 1. Hence we call it linear polynomial. For polynomial I am writing in short only this. Okay, linear polynomial will always be in the form of like this, 5x plus 6 and all. Now second one, x square minus 2x plus 4. This means an algebraic expression in which the degree is 2. Whenever degree is 1, that time we call it linear polynomial. Whenever degree is 2, what is the degree of this polynomial? The power of x is 2, here the power of x is 1. And what is the definition of degree? The highest power of the term. The highest power is 2. So hence the degree will be 2 and its name will be quadratic polynomial. Q-U-A-D-R-A-T-I-C, quadratic polynomial. Okay. Now, when the degree of a polynomial is 3, so when the degree is 1, we call it linear polynomial. When the degree is 2, we call it quadratic polynomial. When the degree is 3, so just check the degree, 2x cube, what is the power of x? 3. Here the power of x is 2, here the power of x is only 1. So the highest power is 3. Hence the degree will be 3 and we call it cubic polynomial. Okay. Now come to this one. Now we can see there are 5 terms. How many terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see that this is x raised to the power 4 plus 2x cube plus 4x raised to the power 2 plus x plus 2. Means what is the power of x here? 4. Power of x 3. Power of x 2. Power of x 1. So the highest power is 4. So we will write 4 and what we will call it? Biquadratic polynomial. Okay, quadratic means when the degree is 2 and biquadratic means when the degree is 4. Okay, so just learn these terms, that what we call to these particular polynomials. When there is only one term, it's a monomial. When only two terms, it's a binomial. When there are three terms, it's a trinomial. And when a polynomial is having two or more than two, that is known as multinomial. Okay, then on the basis of degree also, we categorize it in various types. For example, when the degree of a polynomial is 1, we call it linear polynomial. When the degree is 2, we call it quadratic polynomial. When the degree is 3, we call it cubic polynomial. And when the degree is 4, we call it biquadratic polynomial. Okay. Now, so far what we have learned, that what are terms. For example, if we take only 6x, how many terms in this? 1. Okay. If we take only 7x square, how many terms in this polynomial? Only 1. But if I ask about the degree in this, what will be the degree of this term? It will be 2, because the power of x is 2. Okay. So the degree of this will be 2. Now come to this next one. How many terms? 2. But what will be the degree of this polynomial? The power of x is cube, 3. So the degree will be 3. Okay. So I hope that now you learn that what are terms and how can we find out the degree of a given polynomial. So now let's do this example. Okay. It is 2y raised to the power 8 minus y raised to the power 3 minus 2y raised to the power 2 plus 8. Okay. Now, how many terms in this polynomial? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many terms? 4. Okay. So, what we call to this? When there are 2 or more terms, we call it multinomial. It's a multinomial. Okay. Now, let's check its degree. What will be its degree? So, the degree will be y raised to the power 8, y raised to the power 3, y raised to the power 2. So, the highest power of the term is 8. So, the degree will be 8. There are 4 terms and the degree of this polynomial will be 8. Okay. Now, if suppose someone asks you, what is the coefficient of y raised to the power 8? So, the coefficient of this term is 2. The coefficient of y raised to the power 3, it is only multiplying by minus 1. Minus 1. The coefficient of this y square will be minus 2 and 8 is a constant. It is a constant. So you can see that this polynomial or any polynomial is made up by variables, okay, coefficients and constant, and that are connected with the symbols of addition, subtraction or multiplication. Okay. But if in any polynomial the degree or we can say the power of the variable is negative, then it will not be a polynomial. For example, let's write an example here. 6 upon x minus x raised to the power 2. If someone will ask, is this a polynomial? So the answer will be no. This is not a polynomial, because here 6 upon x means 6 and x means x raised to the power minus 1. Okay, and this is minus x square. So the power of x, here it is positive but here the power is negative. Hence it will not be a polynomial. Okay. Similarly, if sometime it is given in the form root x plus 5. So is this a polynomial? No, because here again the power of x is 1 by 2 and that is not a whole number. It is necessary that the power should be whole number, either 0 or 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. The power should always be positive. If the power is negative, that will not be a polynomial. Okay. So these were only the basics that I tried to cover in this video. So what we learned, we learnt about terms, we learnt about degree, we learnt about coefficients. Coefficients means the numerical value multiplied by the variable, the numbers multiplied by the variables. Okay. For example, once again you can take one more example. In this, what will be the coefficient of x cube? 6. What will be the coefficient of x? 3. Okay, so it is very easy. The coefficient will always be towards left side of the variable. Just check for the numbers which are getting multiplied by the given variables. Okay. So again in the next video, I will cover the degree of a polynomial only and coefficients. Okay. So that this topic you will learn in detail. So till now you only practice these concepts, to learn about these concepts. Rest of the topics I will cover in the next videos. So thanks for watching.